Welcome back to the coolest channel on YouTube. Look, bring it in, smash that like button. Let's get this video to like 20,000 likes, man. Why not wait till 1,000,000 subscribers, man? Look, just knowing these videos, I'm not trying to convince y'all of anything. We're just going over the possibilities of what this reality we live in is presenting us. My blood brother just started his YouTube reaction channel, man. He's gonna be doing similar content as me. Like I said, that's the same guy when we were kids. We were walking on that dirt road and we seen that lizard. It popped our minds and we've been on this shit ever since. But this is his coming to the internet and it's time for him to share his side. So make sure y'all go in the description down below, subscribe to my brother, or I might put it up here on the screen. I appreciate y'all for tapping in with him. Show my brother some support. He deserves it. He's a great guy. He takes care of his friends, his family, and he's one of the big reasons why I am the person I am here today, you know, because iron sharpens iron. We're only like a year apart, you know what I'm saying? Love that guy, and I'm pretty sure y'all gonna love him too. Tap in. So look, man, smash that like button, share these videos with your friends and family. Just know, if you're going through a tough time, not going through this thing called life by ourselves. I messed it all up, but we're going through this thing called life together. Y'all get it? Look, let's get into this video.
Let's talk about it, because their time is up. They told us the war was out there, countries, politics, power, but the real war has been happening right here. A war for your mind, your attention, your belief in yourself, because if they control how you think, they control how you live. But something is happening right now. A lot of people woke up, and we're questioning everything. We ain't going out here acting a fool. We choosing peace over chaos. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The real revolution isn't violence, it's consciousness. So ask yourself, are you still playing the game? Or are you finally waking up?
U.S. did not engage in war. Trump engaged in war. We told him to stop. We told him to sit his rabbit ass down. We still trying to deal with what he did in them damn files. And he over here starting war. Sit your ass down.
Listen up. I just want to give y'all an update on some things that have happened. U.S. Senate votes 53 to 47 to block war powers on further military strikes on Iran without Congress's approval. This guy issued a jihad fatwa declaring the shedding of blood of Trump and the Zionists is obligatory. Probe into the auto pen used by Biden and aides closed by D.C. U.S. Attorney's Office. Apparently they weren't able to find enough evidence to proceed. A U.S. Marine veteran was arrested and removed on Capitol Hill today. He was protesting the war of Iran on behalf of Israel and stated nobody wants to fight for Israel. He ended up getting his hand caught in the door and I believe his arm was broken. And all this happened while the committee sat there not looking at him, not addressing any of this, acting like complete robots. We also ended up invading Ecuador for some reason today. It couldn't be because Ecuador bans oil drilling to protect 700,000 hectare rainforest and indigenous people. I'm sure that's not the reason. Paramount Plus and HBO Max to merge into one streaming service after WBD deal closes. The CEO just happens to be David Ellison. I'm sure there's no conflict of interest there. A national blackout in Iraq today. Pam Bondi has been subpoenaed to testify about the cover-up of the Epstein files. 6.5 earthquake hit on the coast of Alaska today. 2026 seems to be a very eventful year.
You ever see how Machine Gun Kelly enters his concerts? You think he's trying to tell us something like he's the spawn of Satan?
Check out the lights in the back till you see the laser beams. Remember that.
Because you know who the Statue of Liberty actually is, right? Like you've seen my videos on how obvious it is. And you know how Lucifer's the light bearer? And what does the Statue of Liberty hold? And how this 1848 statue of Lucifer has a 7-point crown. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there's an apple there. Oh, and where is that? NYC, the Big Apple. Oh, and you see that chain, right? The chain on the Statue of Liberty is broken. I wonder what that could mean. Did you ever notice that face on that 1848 statue of Lucifer? Kind of looks like someone I know, but I just can't place it. Oh, and getting back to good old MGK, Machine Gun Kelly, who...
Hey, he would come out of Trump's mouth, huh? Came straight out his throat, didn't he?
Who's spawning out of Lucifer's mouth and doing some interesting hand symbols, you know, of those that don't mean rock on. Now, you know, those are devil horns, right? Kind of like all of those. And when I first saw this, the very first thing I said was, he's telling us he's a child of Lucifer. And I didn't know how right I was.
Oh, he's a child coming out of Trump's throat. Damn. Oh, wow.
Until my friend Holly pointed it out. Notice how tall that sun is? You know who else is really tall? Machine Gun Kelly. And boy, they even kind of smirk alike and look alike, and well, they seem to match really, really well. How interesting. And maybe you haven't seen my videos where I keep telling everyone that there's a bunch of shape-shifting fallen angels here in Earth, in the flesh, not the spirit. And they always tell us in TVs and the movies and the media and music. In music, you know who that guy is, right? Elohim is another way to say gods or sons of God or fallen angels. And boy, that sure looks like angel wings. Do you ever see what the original statue of Lucifer, I mean, Liberty's face, looked like? And the funny thing about these statues is I keep finding that they make them oh so accurate, down to the blemishes of the likeness of who they are made after. Do you see that hole right there and that one? There's two little blemishes right there that kind of look exactly like those two that go from left down to right, left down to right, just like that good old original statue of Liberty's face. Of course, all this for entertainment purposes, you silly billies. I don't really think any of this is true. There are definitely no fallen angels that are here shape-shifting into several different forms, deceiving humanity. And
The beat goes on.
One that was on the Sonny and Cher show. On the left is the original Cher.
They say we're young and we don't know. We won't find out until we grow. They say we're young and we don't know. We won't find out until we grow.
You started singing like me, did you? Goddamn, girl, you got that thing right there.
They say we're young and we don't know. We won't find out until we grow. They say we're young and we don't know. We won't find out until we grow.
Folks, after Cher and I got divorced a few years ago, I felt like a new man. So did Cher.
I started to research this down in the Miko-chan. There was a tribe that had allowed me access into their museum and into their findings. Findings that they've kept secret, traditions that they've kept orally from the suppression from the Spanish and the colonization and Christianization of the world. What we see on some of these tablets is absolutely mind-blowing, from alien Christs to birthing females with aliens. It brings you back to the Genesis narrative where the sons of God had their way with the woman of man, which is interesting because obviously the crucifixion of Christ and some of the things in our story that we have in terms of our time frame and when things happened, when the Spanish came, when the carbon dates ceased to exist on this type of ancient piece, how we're finding these pieces mixed in with pieces of different cultures and different time periods. And that's one thing that really brought me into writing my next book here on the Miko-chan and these other areas in Mexico, because it's obviously, you know, something that's spanning this entire country and beyond, but we still really have no clue as to who, what, when, why, where. You know, we have guesses and speculations based on what we're seeing, but the story and the timeline, it it skips out on the history that we know by a fair amount.
They are not who you think they are. And they have been here a lot longer than you realize. That's Andrew Jackson for the uninitiated.
I ain't gonna lie, he look just like that.
And that is Andrew Jackson's wife. Andrew Jackson's wife and Miss Maxwell. And like I said, they are not who you think they are. But it's not just them. It's all of them. They have been here a lot longer than you realize. That's General Patton. And these are a whole bunch of sports stars. Tom Brady, Larry Hagman, Houdini, Joe Burrow, Mickey Mantle, Christian McCaffrey, Kobe Bryant, Wilt Chamberlain, H.P. Lovecraft, Michael Phelps, Travis Kelce, the guy who created the Pony Express, Michael Jordan, and Jackie Robinson.
You ain't getting all of them. I don't believe all of these, but you know, I can see the similarities in some of them. Definitely not the Michael Jordan. Like, I don't see it. Let me know if y'all see it in the comments. I just don't. I don't see it.
It's all of them. Teddy Roosevelt, Robin Williams. Robin Williams, who is supposedly dead, but is now Uncle Pappy, who literally age reduced to become this guy. Young Uncle Pappy, Blair. Viggo Mortensen, Kirk Douglas. Richard and Karen Carpenter, who are literally now Dexter, aka Michael C. Hall and Celine Dion. The entire cast of Seinfeld, who all used to be other known actors, stars. If you can't see that Kramer used to literally be Dean Martin, well then you should probably get your eyes checked. Do you really think Taylor Swift just resembles the Church of Satan's Zena LaVey that much? No, that's her. Do you really think Hugh Jackman just resembles country singer who died at age 33, Keith Whitley, that much? No, they're the same entity. They're not human. They're fallen angels who have been here all along. That's Rudolph Steiner, who became Keith Whitley, who became Hugh Jackman. That's Dale Earnhardt, who supposedly hit a wall, and that's Morgan Wallen. I don't just speculate on this. I don't just mash faces together and say they're the same. I provide evidence. Evidence like Morgan Wallen having a gaping scar under his right eye. Kind of like, exactly like Dale Earnhardt, who hit a wall. A wall, Morgan Wallen. They're mocking you, and I'm trying to help you. And it's all of them, even your heroes like Tom Brady with the exact same butt chin as I Dream of Jeannie star Larry Hagman, the exact same lips and nose and forehead wrinkles and hairline. But it's not just the symmetry, folks. I don't speculate. I prove, because even though they can shapeshift, their markings, their scars, their physical markings remain the same. Kind of like these two and those two on Larry Hagman and Tom Brady. And they always tell us.
Yes, Julian, watch out, I'm still coming for you. You're getting older and I'm staying the same age. He really is. I mean, just look at it. We want to see how you...
Look out, Julian, you're getting older and I'm still staying the same age. And then the other guy says, yes, he is. Funny how his style hasn't changed over the years. They're mocking you. And I'm here trying to help you, show you that you live in a spiritual world run by shape-shifting fallen angels. And as crazy as you might think that sounds, it's reality. But of course, all this is for entertainment purposes. I don't care about liberating humanity from these fallen ones. No, do it for the views. I'm a satire account. Entertainment only.
I can see, hey, look, I'm not saying I agree with every one of those, but damn, you know what I'm saying? Ooh, he was the ones that he hit, but he hit that motherfucker, didn't he? He hit that thing, didn't he? Especially the last one. Oh my gosh. Like, but you got to think though. They even said in the ancient tablets on the serious notes that they can switch bodies to bodies. They already had that technology. They already had that technology. They had many different bodies. That's why the movies would tell you about the transfer of consciousness. And then when it came to the Epstein files, they were doing these things, man. And so it's not a conspiracy. Body hopping, just like how they're you know, like how Chucky was. You remember how they jumped into the Chucky doll? They've been telling us since we was kids. They did a ritual, right? And what did they do? They jumped their consciousness into dolls. Not saying that's what they're doing, you know, but they're putting them in real bodies, though. That's why they have a wealth of knowledge. They don't lose that knowledge. They don't ever like completely die and reincarnate and lose their memories from the moon. That's why the man the dude that fishes on the moon, fishing for souls, going to the light after you pass, because they wash your memories and you come back knowing nothing. They siphon your energy. They have control that way, but this is all coming to an end. This loose farm, this harvesting that they do. But let's keep watching though. Let's get back into the video.
My great-grandfather, according to my father, was Walt Disney. His twin sister, who he had children with, who I am descended from, was named Minnie.
Cracking your sister is wild though. You know what I'm saying? I don't give grace for like even extended family and stuff like that. That's still gross. But whacking your sister is just who thinks of this?
Separated from my mother and twin brother. My twin brother was raised on the Disney Channel. That was painful for me. My father and stepmother had a baby girl in 1991.
You look just like.
Who was raised by another family. In 1998, they assigned me her birth date on my birth certificate, which they waited 10 years to file, claiming my stepmother was my biological mother. We're not the only twins. Most of us are separated. So what they do is they take one of the twins, make them a child star, and watch the other hone their craft independently so they can rise to reunite with them. And it works because going through that trauma together, no one else can understand it.
And you and I are like sisters. Sisters. Hallie, we're like twins.
When the angels blow their trumpets, the whole world will stop and listen. Everything is about symbols and logos. The word Trump is short for trumpets. Remember, he got shot in his ear? Symbolism. They was trying to tell you to get ready and listen. They want the people to believe that there is a good team and there's a bad team. No, 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 no. It's only one team, and that team is against all of us. Symbolism. This video is about to get a little dark and a little deep. Stay with me.
That's why I be telling people, like, people get hung up over when I be posting and stuff about the, you know, AEW. Not all of them. Everybody has that demographic that's just on some bullshit. Got to call it out. Simple. I do business with peoples of all kind, but we have to choose a side. What side are you on? Some people get caught up in their feelings, and I think it's because you support the actions of these bad behaviors. Some of y'all don't carry it out, but some of y'all have those preconceived notions and underlying racism, shit like that. The simple foolish shit that we still do on this planet. But, you know, we just calling out the bullshit, and some people can't take it. Pick a side.
Did you know that Iran have a Stargate? Not any Stargate, but the last one. In order to activate the Stargate, you need a blood sacrifice. And what's going on right now? A lot of blood sacrifices. They started this war on the planetary alignment for a reason. Every time something good happened in the universe, what do the elites do? They give us distractions. Their purpose is to turn you away from your spiritual growth. They don't have no spirit, and they want yours. But just go a little deeper. Anytime your ear start ringing, that is an angel blowing their trumpets. Remember, everything's about frequency. This is the fake people. All they do is mimic and steal everything that's real, because if you don't have a spirit, you can't create nothing. This is all connected to Israel, or Isis Ra-El, the Merkabah around our body. This is Israel flag, and this is the Merkabah around our physical body. We have one triangle pointing up and another triangle pointing down. But when you put both triangles together, look what you get. Israel flag or the Merkabah. Everything is symbolism. The war is over the 10th Stargate. We are the 10th Stargate, the last Stargate. The triangle that's pointing up, it represents the masculine energy. The triangle that's pointing down represents the feminine energy. Once again, when you put them both together, you get the flag of Israel. They don't want you to know that they're doing something really demonic to us. They're trying to replace everyone on this planet with artificial intelligence. When people speak about the New World Order, they're not speaking about money. They're not speaking about gold. There is something greater than all of that shit. It's us, the spiritual energy. Everything is done in threes. Negative, positive, outcome. And this might be the third war. Negative, positive, outcome. Next time you get that air ringing, just know it's from a higher source, not the fake source. They are not enemies with each other. They the same team.
Wait a minute. Something is going on here, guys. Do you see it? Do you see it? Let me know. Remember? Listen. People are saying that this person is someone we know. Yeah.
In the files.
You know who I'm talking about. I mean, who really owns Bitcoin? We need to find out, even though we have an idea who owns it. People are saying he owns it. Who's this? Huh? Who is this guy right here? And how do they know that? Because for so long, there's been speculations of who runs this. Because this coin came out of nowhere and people trusted and believed in it. People still do. And I kind of do, right? Right? Shh. Shut up. But I find this very interesting. Don't you agree? That this is very interesting how they put this together, because I didn't do it. This is all over the internet. I did not do this, straight up. I'm just playing around, guys. Entertainment purposes only. I don't know who owns it. Everybody's trying to figure it out, and everybody has an idea. I don't know, guys. Who is this? Let me know what you think. I'm out.
Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Sam Altman, and Larry Ellison all have underground bunkers, like multi-million-dollar underground bunkers. So my theory is they're either lizards and prefer to live underground.
But it is going to bother you because you're human, and I was human. I am human, still.
What an odd thing to say. Or they're vampires because they don't like the sun. Or they just know something that we don't, and that feels like insider trading in its own way. Whatever. This is my driver. I feel like there's something more to this. Why do they all have complexes? Underground. What are you hiding from? Or what are you planning to hide from? Whatever.
This is Stefan Burns here. There is a lot that's happening right now, and new things have come to light that we previously did not know. So just right off the top of the list, we had 2 oarfish wash up in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico on the 20th of February. Oarfish are known as Doomsday fish, and these were quite large. 2 of them, about the same size, on the day of one of the most significant planetary conjunctions in our lifetimes, if not even for centuries. And that was the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in the constellation of Pisces, which is 2 fish. So really on the nose, symbology there indicating that that is quite a pivotal event. That occurred on the 20th of February. Just today, we had a magnitude 4.9 earthquake strike Louisiana. That is not a location that typically gets earthquakes. Magnitude 4.9. We've been having earthquake activity in South Carolina, a bit of an earthquake swarm. Nothing too crazy, but hey, it's been happening. Magnitude 4.1 here up in Nebraska. That was back on the 1st of March. And starting in February, we had geyser here erupt for the first time. So not the first time ever, but the first time in 5 years. It last had eruptions in December of 2020. Had I believe it was 2 or 3 eruptions. This is a geyser in December 2020. That's very interesting because that's when we had a great conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn. And then it started to reawaken in February, and now it's been erupting dozens of times every 2 to 5 hours. This is significant because it's the world's largest acidic geyser. So it's not just any old...
Did you guys hear what just washed ashore on Cabo's beaches in Mexico? Not 1, but 2 doomsday fish washed ashore on the beaches, which, by the way, over the last 100 years, at maybe maximum 20 doomsday fish have ever been seen along the beach. And it's said that a couple of doomsday fish washed ashore near Fukushima before that happened. Of course, officially, there's no science that will directly link it. Like, they're never going to say that anyway, but it is very shocking. You're literally lucky to see 1 of these things in your lives, but 2? So what do you think? Is something a little bit strange going on in the ocean right now? Because usually they wash ashore before tsunamis or hurricanes.
Because of weapons of warfare that I can't even talk about.
What?
2 weeks ago, they saw weapons that nobody ever heard of.
Like, bro, they just confirmed that they have direct energy weapons. This is a real tweet.
Those red beams that we seen when MGK came out of Statue of Liberty, aka Trump's throat piece. Seen the lasers come out. All symbolism, y'all.
We've been speculating on this shit for years. Meaning the lasers from the sky that literally will melt your fucking brain. That make you fucking bleed from the nose. That make you just go crazy.
There's no entry or exit wound. How they're designed is to make the target feel like they're crazy. They're imagining things.
We're fucking cooked. If this is the shit they've been hiding from us, what the fuck else do we not know about? This is crazy shit.
26.
An entity came from this portal and like it sat at the table.
Her name is Dr. Astrid Stuckelberger, and she's talking about the work being done at CERN. She's a scientist, researcher, and public health expert who has worked closely with governments and international organizations for over 20 years. She's credentialed, respected, and has access to circles most of us will never enter. But in 2016, at a dinner in Portugal, she found herself seated next to 2 physicists from CERN. What they told her that night would change everything she thought she knew about reality. Officially, CERN's mission is to study the fundamental structure of the universe, to smash particles together at near light speed and observe what happens. In 2012, they announced the discovery of the so-called God particle, a triumph of modern physics. Nobel Prizes were awarded, the world celebrated. But since then, silence. Billions more spent. The collider runs continuously, and we hear almost nothing about what they're actually doing. There's occasional vague statements about exploring extra dimensions, mentions of portal experiments and dark matter research, cryptic references to opening doors and unknown unknowns. And then there are the symbols. The statue of Shiva, the Hindu god of destruction, prominently displayed at CERN headquarters. The strange rituals and ceremonies. The occult imagery that seems woven into the facility's very identity. What are they really doing down there? What have they found? And why does the largest scientific experiment in human history feel like it's shrouded in mystery? Dr. Stuckelberger wanted answers, and in 2016, she got more than she bargained for. During this time, she was in Portugal attending a dinner hosted by a colleague. She's seated at a table with two physicists, one from CERN in Geneva, one from CERN in Portugal.
And I sat at their table and I was like so happy not to be in a boring table.
She decides to ask them the questions that have been nagging at her. Her first question is simple. How many dimensions are you working with at CERN?
I said, so how many dimensions officially are living in the CERN? And they both said 17, very affirmatively.
When she asks for documentation for proof, they tell her they don't have any. They just know it's 17. They work there, but they can't prove it. But then she presses further. She wants to know if anything has ever come through from another dimension, if they have any evidence, any proof.
And they said, well, yes, there is something. And then they started talking about the CERN portal. There's a portal for the LHC. There's a door, open, a round door, you know, like in the Stargate. So in front of the door, they have a room. They probably have many doors, but
when you think about it, man, think about the symbology that's been in Ghostbusters for the longest. Ghostbusters will tell you everything you need to know about harvesting demons that they're trying to get come through these portals. How did they know it's 17 dimensions? They've known for a while. It's my theory that they're betting on something to come through there, or it's a plan for something to come through. There's something. Let me know in the comments down below if you know exactly what that is. And I don't want to say too much right here because I think I will just drop a whole nother video and dedicate it to possibilities of what they're trying to accomplish, letting through these portals. It's a lot more information out there on that. So let me know in the comments down below if that's something that y'all want to see soon. And I'll be sure to knock these out. I got y'all.
Generate.
Valley.
Mark Zuckerberg has just added facial recognition to its smart glasses and hopes the public is too distracted by political turmoil to care. With an internal memo reading, quote, "We will launch during a dynamic political environment where many civil society groups that we would expect to attack us would have their resources focused on other concerns."
To use it, you just put the glasses on, then as you walk by people, the glasses will detect when somebody's face is in frame. This photo is used to analyze them, and after a few seconds, their personal information pops up on your phone. Cambridge Community Foundation. Oh, hi, ma'am. Wait, are you Betsy?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I think I met you through like the Cambridge Community Foundation, right? Yeah.
And not only are they identifying people through the glasses, if you're one of the people wearing the glasses, you are being watched as well. Quote, "The investigation found that much of the footage captured by Meta's smart glasses, of which more than 7 million pairs have reportedly been sold, is being reviewed by contract workers at a Kenya-based company called Sama. They say that sensitive and personal footage captured by the devices, including people going to the bathroom, getting dressed, and having sex, is being reviewed by contractors who see all of it uncensored." Well, what could possibly go wrong, y'all?
Thought they was safe, huh? Ain't nobody safe. Your phones are taking pictures of you taking shit. Everybody on their phones. Bathroom. Yeah, y'all know it is. Y'all know it's true. They got a bunch of forehead pictures of sitting butt naked, and you can see the fan at the top of the bathroom. Y'all know that shot I'm talking about.
And actually, my prediction is in the benign scenario of the future that the robots will actually make so many robots and AI that they will actually saturate all human needs. Meaning you won't be able to even think of something to ask the robot for at a certain point. Like there will be such an abundance of goods and services because my prediction is that there'll be more robots than people. So,
but how do you then have human purpose in that scenario?
Yeah, I mean, you know, nothing's perfect, you know. But I mean, it is a necessary. Like you can't have both. You can't have work that has to be done and amazing abundance for all.
And then the big political and economic question of the 21st century will be, what do we need humans for? Or at least, what do we need so many humans for?
Do you have an answer in the book?
At present, the best guess we have is keep them happy with drugs and computer games.
And we call this the metaverse.
What you guys do in here?
Pretty much everything that you would do in the real world.
Or at least, what do we need so many humans for?
Would constitute a new useless class. When I say that these are useless humans, it's not from the viewpoint of the mother, of the wife, of the son.
Or at least, what do we need so many humans for?
First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
Or at least, what do we need so many humans for?
Forget the conspiracy. Listen to our government agencies. These guys are telling the truth. You know, there's no conspiracy here, folks. Just get your damn vaccine.
All right. Thank you, doctor.
I find information like this, you know, inserts for the vaccine. Paper's there, and there's nothing printed on it. I find that very interesting, disheartening, disgusting, and lots of other words. But then it gets better. It just keeps, wait, there's more. It just keeps happening. The CDC redacts every single word of a 148-page study on a myocarditis after COVID vaccination. So I asked research to print the study for me. 148 pages. The entire thing is redacted. What good does a study do if there's nothing there? Then I want to know, wait, what might have been there that they needed to redact it? That's even scarier.
We're witnessing an active cover-up of a colossal consumer product safety debacle that is basically affecting the entire world. So in the United States, our CDC, National Institutes of Health, and the FDA are actively involved in a cover-up. And the same is occurring in the UK with the MHRA, Europe with European medicine agencies, and Australia with the Therapeutic Goods Administration. Something is going on that's very big. Each one of these companies that puts out a product has an obligation to produce 90 days of safety monitoring after their product comes out. It's a regulatory dossier. If somebody has a problem with the new product and they call the company like Pfizer, Pfizer has to report, write down what happened, and they have to collate that in a report and produce it and make it publicly available. When it came to 90 days with Pfizer, the first vaccine that came out, remember Pfizer was approved December 10th, 2020. Pfizer didn't produce a report. And then people started asking, well, what's happening with your vaccine? And Pfizer would not disclose what happened. And then it went to court. And the lawyer for the FDA stepped in and said they don't want to release Pfizer's dossier for 55 years. 55 years. And the plaintiff pushed. And finally, slowly, the Pfizer dossier came out. Pfizer recorded 1,223 deaths with their product within 90 days of release. People were calling Pfizer in desperation, watching their family members die after taking the vaccine. Pfizer recorded over 1,200 new adverse events, new problems that Dr. Bowden has talked to you about that we are grappling with the entire time. But the point is, our FDA worked to cover this up. The FDA should be regulating this company. FDA should have been having at least monthly meetings and fully disclosing what was going on with these novel vaccines, which are a genetic transfer technology platform.
Know whose genetics it was transferring.
Transmission system.
That's right. That's right. It's in outside of Tromsø, the biggest hub type of thing, part of ASCAT system. This system going from Svalbard, Tromsø, Kiruna in Sweden has the headquarters of the whole system, and then in Lapland, in Finnish Lapland, in Sodankylä. And, you know, when they blast electromagnetic fields, it goes through all of Europe.
And do you think that's a form of mind control?
Oh, it can be used for mind control, of course, like HARP. And that is the danger, because people know nothing about mind control. They don't know that your thoughts can be changed, your attitudes, your feelings. If you love somebody sitting at a computer, even through satellites, can say, okay, let's make it opposite. And you start just detesting the person who you love. You can't be in the same room, you feel uncomfortable. I think this is terrible because you're making people into biological robots.
Just how easy is it to physically alter someone's mind from a distance? Let's watch this clip from Dr. Beck, and you'll be shocked.
And what I'm going to do here is something magical. I'm going to pick up here a scripto pencil, and you'll notice when I wave it around this electrometer, this electrostatic voltmeter, not much is happening. I'm going to do something magical to this pencil. I'm going to put a few extra electrons on it, like you did in high school. Now what happens? Number one, when I have charged this piece of plastic by rubbing it through my hair, as you do with a hair comb during the day, we have made a field which you can measure if you have an instrument. Now I'm going to do something else to you. I want the people from the first row back, I guess some of you even a little beyond the video camera are going to feel this. This works double blind, this is not suggestion. We're going to create a 3 to 5 hertz field, as Hamer did at UCLA in 1965, and we're going to ask you how you feel. Now, we're going to produce a 9 hertz wave. A wave is a time-varying field, and I want those of you who are sensitive to tell me what you feel compared to the 3 to 5. Okay? You got it? I see several faces have lit up here. You felt that? Terrific.
One wave made you feel slightly low. I felt the vibration in the soul.
Yeah.
The second one you did, I felt the energy charge throughout the whole body.
Exactly. If you saw those previous slides, we have replicated here with very simple, do-it-yourself, verifiable on scientific instruments, waves and fields that have profound effect on biological systems. So we can go in and find out what restaurants are modifying your eating habits by giving you an adrenaline reaction, which normally produces fight or flight syndrome. If you pay $20 for a meal, you're not going to fight or run away. You're going to eat faster. If you eat faster, they're going to have more table turnover during a shift. This is being done. We found a number of these locations in Southern California that are doing this to us. Incidentally, they are connected with the family. They are Italian-owned. This technology has leaked down to the public. We hoped it would be a few years before this happened.
The 1980s.
Trying to actively manipulate the mood and brain waves of Homo sapiens. We first tried photic stimulus, flashing lights. We tried evoke potential from sound. We tried a number of things about which we do not talk in public. We finally developed a little device about this size that goes in your shirt pocket. I took it down. Now I'm telling on myself, but I hope the statute of limitations has run out. To a couple of the major tourist attractions in Southern California, where we would have an unlimited number of subjects, free, didn't have to feed laboratory mice. We determined that we could alter the brain patterns of about 35% of the gross population up to a distance of around 20 to 30 feet. Instead of going through the door, they would run into the door jamb. Instead of walking around the trash can, they would kick it over. They'd get lost. As soon as I found that this actually worked, and I used these to determine the waveforms, pulse repetition rates, etc., I destroyed the units because I felt we were doing a highly unethical thing. So I hied myself back to Washington and I said, hey, you guys, we've got a clear and present danger.
Your mind is being altered every day from outside sources. And the only question left for you is whether or not you want to take control of it or let it be in the hands of somebody else.
That's what we get into the hacking of biofield. That's why we talk about raising vibrations, being aware. Raising your vibrations is being, direct line with like understanding the situation that we're currently in. towers are being. I see the clouds in the sky and they have those ripples. Let me know in the comments down below, like, when were you born? What did the clouds look like when you were born compared to today as an adult? I was a kid, the clouds didn't look like how they look now. We've never seen clouds with ripples and waves. It never happened. It looked like the sky has a fucking do-rag on and it's working on its waves. You know what I'm saying? We've never seen that. Those are frequencies being pushed through our environment. Partly blocking us from the sun, partly trying to keep this planet cool and separating us from source. Look, we're going to get back into it. They want to hack your biofield. Want you to feel low. Let me know in the comments down below. Lately, how have you been feeling? They've been spraying us like super crazy here. On the back, we haven't had a lot of sunlight lately, so I can pretty much record it any time right now. But thick layer of just a sheet of white every damn day. Yesterday, it was hot. Clouds disappeared. It was like 80 degrees here. That shit is out here. It's cool. Oh, it's like a sheet. It's not even, it's like a sheet of clouds now. Things are changing. And what does this type of environment make you feel like? It's like when I went to Germany. Germany, it was like gloomy, cold, wet, cloudy. Makes you feel, it's depressing. Because you're not really getting sunlight like that. Versus go somewhere like Florida, Arizona. It's a lot of sunlight. Woke up every day feeling just beautiful. Getting disconnected out.
Will definitely happen. I was talking about 6G earlier, which is around 2030. I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual, kind of the most common interface.
Wow.
Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies.
And one of the important statements we, I think, made at our most recent developers conference is that we believe that one of the big advantages of augmented reality is actually solving problems here on Earth, and it will be things like having glasses and being able to translate as you speak with glasses, and those are very close.
Holograms will be very, very high quality in the era of 6G. I've already seen 5G-based hologram demonstrations. They already work. But then with the next generation technology, I mean, we could be having this meeting so that in reality we would be sitting in different parts of the world.
All right. Well, I've enjoyed seeing you for the last time I'll ever see you in person. I look forward to seeing you at next Davos. Thank you very much to our amazing panelists and a wonderful conversation.
The idea of me coming here is trying to put us forward a little bit more in this subject and what we actually have learned over 2 long-term projects that we've been involved in the UK. First, a little bit of information about myself. I started in this subject in 1983 as my first investigation into UFOs, 36 years nearly now. And I kind of went full circle in ufology, to the point where I could no further. Of course, you've got to take in consideration back in 1980, 81, my mentors, the people who taught me, were telling me that this was a very nuts and bolts phenomena, traveling in the distances of space from other planets to visit us. And of course, we've realized very quickly that that isn't exactly the case. However, after dealing with ufology for a long time, I worked in parapsychological circles, paranormal phenomena, and did psychology degree in behavioral sciences, moved into the parapsychology courses, to try and learn more about ourselves, because a lot of the answers regarding this subject that we all love, I think a lot of these answers also lie within ourselves and how we interact with this phenomenon. Going further than that, I went into cryptozoology, profound human experiences. I did sociology, IT, engineering, as it was mentioned earlier, and I did work for NATO. And Grant Cameron's lecture mentioned very briefly that I worked with what was referred to as bioboard technology, which was biologically integrated circuit boards 28 years ago almost. And that technology is only coming to surface now through IBM. where they can literally save 100 terabytes of data on the pin head of a pencil. Amazing, the information that is coming forward. So obviously I'm open to talk about that, but not in obviously this lecture. What I'm going to do also is just mention that the work that I was involved in led me to do corporate investigations in the UK for 17 years. Corporate confidential investigations for businesses that were having disturbances, should we say. Unusual things that might go bump in the night. And believe me or not, it is a big problem because managers don't know how to deal with that when the staff come to them and say, well, do you know, I'm not going to work past 5:30. It gets dark. I'm not working down there. Vera saw something strange down the corridor. We can well imagine it becomes a managerial issue, problems. And of course, protocols have to be met, and we wrote protocols for housing associations right across the United Kingdom, how to deal with this phenomena. The paranormal, because it is strife across the UK. Of course, that led me into work with the Criminal Investigations Department in London. I conducted some work with them for a number of years. And then on to scientific issues, metaphysical phenomena, and so on and so forth. When I talk about Project Doorway is a project that looks into the study of the UFO phenomena from a different viewpoint. And this has been going on for a long time. I mean, it's initially initiated by my colleague, Barry Fitzgerald from Ireland, and he started into that project in the 1990s. But we've really come forward quite heavily over the last 5 years with the findings that we've had. Apart from that, running side by side with Project Doorway is Phenomena Project, which is simply about the paranormal. The profound human experiences, the supernatural, the demological, you call it what you will. And when these two run side by side, they eventually meet on the same track. Okay, so what we've learned, basically, when we come full circle on this subject, in the paranormal, in the ufological, is that it seems to be there's a universal balance. And this universal balance is simply, you'll find it across the whole subject. No matter what subject you're actually involved in, you'll find this. And we'll come back to this later on in the presentation. But the biggest problem for us is that we've created these boxes, be it the paranormal, the ufological, the metaphysical. We have these boxes, and to be honest with you, it's been the worst thing we've ever done, is create these boxes and put subjects into these fields, because we have now dedicated researchers that are afraid to step over into the next area because it's not their forte. And I think anybody who's really studying the UFO phenomena and really wants to deliver answers cannot ignore the paranormal, as many researchers have mentioned at this conference. The metaphysical as well. So what we've done is we've encompassed all these because they are found without all these subjects into the word phenomenology. And when we refer to phenomenology, it means that it's going to be concepts of the paranormal, the ufological, the metaphysical. What is interesting, when we talk about Arthur C. Clarke, a very famous quote from him stated that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And if you cast your minds back to, when we first had flight and we traveled to those native islands and we found natives and they thought we were gods and they built crafts, images like our planes and worshipped them. Very similar thing. They must have thought that, we had magic. It's as simple as that. And what is also very interesting is that in the 1970s, the CIA had a number of documents that were released. And they were heavily involved in trying to find out what is all this UFO business about. And what was very interesting is that they kept coming across this terminology, WFM. Now what's really funny is that there were researchers out there trying to find out what's WFM. And they were throwing papers around, looking for scientific establishments, looking for an acronym for a military operation or some type of secret project. And it was only some years later, after not just one but two whistleblowers that came forward and said, we can tell you what WFM means. It means weird frigging magic. And that kind of sums it up about what Arthur C. Clarke was saying here, is that because even then they were trying to work out what does this subject, what's it actually really consist of? And I just don't think they could properly comprehend the physics that were involved. And to be honest with you, and I've talked to many scientists, and they will agree by saying the cup of water, the knowledge that we have in the physics of today, we literally have to empty out because there is a new physics. And that physics does not incorporate the physics of old. And this is why, when we consider the learnings that we have in this subject, why it doesn't really fit this phenomenon. We also talked over the conference with numerous researchers, and they came to the same conclusions about these observational effects. And Grant Cameron's lecture was an amazing lecture. He talked about the dual slit experiment, the double slit experiment. It's the same thing. And what it really means is that when observing these electrons, that they act differently. And the experiment revealed that the greater the amount of watching, the greater the observer's influence was on what was actually taking place. In other words, they were affecting the outcome by watching it. So it's feasible to say, with you just looking at me, there's some form of interaction going on, unaware of. And anything that we look at, touch, we see around us, we are affecting them in some molecular way. Now, if this is the case, and this is the evidence speaks volumes, then we have to consider the fact that a quantum theory demonstrates observational affects reality. Communication between the phenomena and the observer. Research into artificial intelligence estimates that us beings will have the capability of being linked collectively by 2050. That's not that far away, just over 30 years away. And scientists are saying that we were going to have this capability of this conscious connection with us all, linked anywhere to anyone by 2050. The advancements in this science are going on. We're just not aware of it because it's not public knowledge. In a recent experiment, a person in India, and I think this was about 2 years ago, said hello to 3 other people in France. The greetings were not spoken, typed, or text. This communication happened simply by the brains from the subjects, marking one of the first instances of brain-to-brain communication in humans.
Look, that's why we're all connected, man. I think it's a lot further than that. Some of us, I mean, I think we all use it on some level. Sense it, we can feel it. It's not too aware of how to use them. But look, we all on our journeys. Everybody's on different. We're in this thing together, and we're also figuring that out. All egos and everything to the side. If you have knowledge about these topics that you want people, let us know in the comments down below. Let me know what y'all want to see. This is about our community. This is about the person and what they want. So y'all community, keep these things going. I read in the comments, a lot of y'all have a wealth of knowledge. I do appreciate y'all for tapping in, sharing these videos, smashing that like button like close to as a community. Killing it. We're on our way to 1 million. I said every step of the way, man, we stepping on. Coming. Getting together, getting rid of the ego. I wonder if y'all can see the changes in me through the years. I have to keep growing, and I have to keep showing y'all by example. Not saying that I'm perfect or we're ever going to be to the state of perfection, but we're just trying to be better versions of ourselves every day. And I appreciate y'all for growing with me and dissecting these videos. But look, like I always say, spread love because there's too much hate in this world. Love y'all. I'll see y'all in the next video. I'm out though.